Hello, and welcome to the Super Mario's Land. And I know what you're thinking. Why have you brought me this despicable man? Why have you brought me the inferior product? Where is my good friend Wario? And I assure you, he's just taking a rest. He's having a little nap. He's on a vacation. Wario is good. And even though Mario, the Super Mario, he's no good to us, we have to respect him and his time. Because the Super Mario Land series became the Wario Land series, so we will give him this time in the spotlight to shine, where we show off this weird alternate Mario Brothers one. Now, the Super Mario Land isn't like a port of Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers. It's like a weird alternate take on it by different developers, and we'll talk about that more as we go along, but right here is just a great, just easy way to tell this game is different. You pick up a star and the can plays instead of the invincibility theme for Mario Brothers. It's pretty iconic, but it's just, there's a lot of like little changes like that show that this game's different. Like the fire flowers aren't fire flowers, they're super ball flowers. Instead of throwing a fireball, he throws a super ball, I guess the little rubber thing, and it bounces way more. It picks up coins. It's neat. At the end of the levels, there aren't goals. They're instead exits. The bottom exit just brings you to the next level, no problem. The top one takes you to a bonus game where you can get extra lives or a power-up. And right now the power-up is useless to us because I already have one, but, whatever. I'm going to be cutting out the time ticking down at the end of the level and the bonus games for all future levels, just to be courteous to your time, because they're all the same, and you can't skip the time ticking down, and it just adds to your score. Who cares? It's still happening. I've just edited it out for your viewing pleasure. So yeah, this game's like a weird alternate Mario Brothers one. Here's some footage of them just being played side by side. I guess I didn't actually, now that I think about it, I didn't need to record the footage of me playing Mario Land because you're seeing me play it, but here it is anyways because I've recorded it. And, I've zoomed in the Mario Brothers footage just a little bit to fit in the same size box, just so they wouldn't be different size boxes, because things like that would bother me. But, as you can see, it's just a little bit different. It's pretty similar. But Mario doesn't, the Super Mario Land doesn't, when the Super Mario and Super Mario Land moves, he doesn't have, carry as much momentum. If you take your finger off the button, the D-pad, if you take your finger off the D-pad, he comes to a complete stop. There is no skidding involved whatsoever. 1-3 is kind of interesting. There's these, little hidden blocks with these little platforms that take you, up to the HUD, where you can find some coins and some, little bonus areas. Oh yeah, shoot, we should probably talk about the bonus areas. So, almost every level has about 2 bonus areas. We'll be seeing every single one of the game, so I probably won't be acknowledging, all the weird little discrepancies. Just know we will see every single one in the game, with the exception of one that I messed up, but I'll edit that in so you can see, and I'll acknowledge when it happens, other than the thing that I've edited on screen. But yeah, the game's just kind of like a weird alternate Mario Brothers one. Lots of little changes like that. Instead of having one-up mushrooms, there are hearts because, the Game Boy screen was monochrome and it was very small. So, even if they did a palette swap of the mushroom, it'd probably be hard to tell still. So you instead have hearts, which still act like mushrooms. They arc out of blocks whenever you hit them the same way a mushroom would. They hit the ground, they slide like a mushroom would. They're just hearts because what is a heart but a mushroom? Can anyone really say that a heart and a mushroom isn't the same thing? Because I have said that. I wouldn't say that they're different. I'd say they're pretty much the same. Yeah, so it's like a weird alternate Mario Brothers one. We'll talk about that a bit more in a moment. We're coming up on our first boss. Oh, and these little Sphinx guys, they're called Gals, which is just a cute name. I saw that in the Mario Brothers wiki and wanted to mention it because it's a cute name. And there you go, that's the first boss. The first boss is sort of like Bowser, and by sort of, I mean basically exactly like Bowser in Mario Brothers. He just hops up and down, shoots fireballs at you, you dodge it, you hit the switch, he explodes. You can throw super balls at him and he'll explode. And here we have Princess Daisy. This is our first appearance. Oh, Daisy. In her first appearance, she explodes and turns into a fighter fly from Mario Brothers. Not Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers. And we'll talk about that in a moment too, I guess. So yeah, as you can see, it's like a weird alternate Mario Brothers. You get to the end, and instead of your princess being in another castle, the Super Mario is fooled by illusions. The Super Mario, what a fool, what an absolute clown. Wario would never fall for an illusion. In fact, he destroys illusions, as we see at the end of Wario Land 1. He's just much better than this pitiful excuse of a man, the Super Mario. So there is that. So yes, I've actually Let's Played this game before. I deleted the video off my channel because it wasn't very good. Like, I think like the playthrough was like a 45-minute long playthrough because I played much slower than I did in this video. I also didn't edit anything down, and the commentary wasn't all that great, I didn't think either. So I ended up taking it down at one point because I'd done a Let's Play of this game, because originally I was planning to do, I want to do the entire Wario Land series, so I should do Mario Land 1 and 2 to lead up to it. But then, I didn't like my Mario Land 1 video, and then just because, 2 just never ended up happening as well. So I just said, let's just skip straight to the good stuff. And here we are, almost at the end of our Wario Land journey. As of the time of recording this, we haven't played Shake It, and Shake It will be our last Wario Land game. But, Wario Land 4 was our last Wario Land game that was actually developed by Nintendo. So that's an important thing to remember, that Wario Land 4, the best one, was the last one made by Nintendo. But, before we finished our Wario Land journey, I thought we'd come back and take a look at where our boy was birthed. We could come back and see the birth of our boy, our precious little child, our most respected colleague, Wario. We all love him. We all know him. But today we're here to honor him by playing as this pitiful excuse of a man, the Super Mario. So yes, this game's... I'm going to stop hammering home the point. Weird alternate Mario Brothers 1. And I want to just say, like, that being strange by, like, giving you, like, a bit of time frame to consider as well. And this didn't go well for me at all. Like, I messed this up so many different times, and then I felt extreme shame at missing it. Not that it matters to you. You're not seeing the bonus game. But just know I don't get any extra lives or the potential to get a Super Ball flower. It's very bad for me. But Super Mario Bros. 1 came out in '85. This game came out in '89. Now, there's 4 years of separation between them two. But what makes that strange is Mario Bros. 3 came out in '88 in Japan, '90 in USA. So this game is contemporary with Mario Bros. 3, but it's like Mario Bros. 1, which is a little strange and makes it feel a little dated, and apparently even like back then it felt a little dated, aside from once you got past the fact like, oh my god, this is a real video game that's portable, like, it was a bit like an older NES game at that point. This little bridge here, you can get to the bottom area by using the bombshell Koopa to blow up the block, so you can get to the bottom area, but I wasn't thinking about that and messed it up, and then I was like, I don't want to restart, I'm going to keep going. So then I did, I kept going. Plus, there's all this good stuff up here, you get a mushroom, you get a star. What's not to love about the upper path? Ooh, something I need to mention. Power-ups are always determined on what state you're in. So if you're Small Mario, you'll always get a mushroom. If you're the Super Mario, you'll always get a Super Ball flower. You'll never find a Super Ball flower as Small Mario that makes you just have the Super Balls. And if you spawn in a Super Ball flower, get hit. Whenever you get hit, regardless of what size you are, or regardless if you're Super Ball or Big Mario, you'll always become Small Mario. It's not like 1, 2, 3. It's just 1, 2, or 2 with Fireball. God, I just complicated a very simple idea. But I'm sure you understood it. You're very smart. You get things better than me. You know what I meant. But if you spawn in the Super Ball flower, and then you get hit, the Super Ball flower will remain on screen, and if you pick it up, it still only acts as a mushroom. Now, this game is a little strange, because, every once in a while it's like, hey, are you ready for a shoot-'em-up segment? And here we are in the shoot-'em-up segment, where Mario takes to the seas and destroys the natural environment by blowing things up with torpedoes, something Wario would never do. Wario loves the environment. He has a big chicken, which chickens are inhabitants of the environment, and he loves her very much. So you would never see the Wario going through the seas and blowing up sea life. And if you see him do that in the future, just close your eyes and pretend that you don't see it, because you're not seeing it. That definitely doesn't happen in the very next video game, and I definitely realized that before I started speaking. But no, Wario loves the environment, the Super Mario hates the environment, and there's no proof to say otherwise. So yeah, there's just little shoot-'em-up segments, and they're not hard, they're very easy, and they're just like a nice little break of pace in, the video game. So I just always enjoyed these little segments, they're just fun. Mario driving around, and his Marine Pop, I believe is the name of his submarine, which is just a good name. Just a fun little thing all around. So we've talked about this game's and it being contemporary with Mario Bros. 3. Few little things that we need to talk about. And some before I forget. I've been editing out the bonus games, but after you beat a boss, there is a bonus game. You get a bonus game after you beat a boss. I just felt the need to mention that. The problem with these shoot 'em up segments is these bosses, whenever you shoot them, make this awful like bawing noise, which not great, but whatever. Also, you don't actually have to fight that boss. You can just drive past him and blow up the blocks. Come back here, hit the switch, and he'll blow up. You'll get the same amount of points. But it's just easier to fight him, to be honest. Like the shoot 'em up segment's pretty easy. It's a little harder to get in there and destroy the blocks first. And we get to the end and we find the real Daisy. Oh no, you fool, Mario! You were fooled once. There was an entire game where you were fooled by your princess being in another castle, and you're still falling for the same shit. Huh? What a fool! How can you even trust this guy? So, this game, I mentioned the Game Boy was monochrome, and what you're seeing here is the power of the Super Game Boy, baby. And by that I mean I'm emulating this, but I'm using a Super Game Boy color palette. More specifically, I'm using the 1F color palette. The reason I'm using this color palette, other than that I think it looks good, is that whenever you slap that bad boy cartridge into the Super Game Boy, this was apparently the default palette that it would pick unless you changed it, which, I mean, you could change it between, like, what were there, like 16 color palettes, maybe more? I don't know. There were a lot. It's like, what are there? I think there's like four times F, whatever 4 times F is. I'm not doing the math with hexadecimal. Is that hex? I don't know. I should know these things, but I don't know them off the top of my head, so we're just going to continue on as if I did do them right. But this is 1F. I thought it looked nice with the the blue sky in the background as opposed to the beige sky you got from 1A. Because 1A is the Super Game Boy Color palette that I had used for all previous Game Boy things other than Mole-Mania, which whenever I emulated, it's one of the games that uses the Game Boy, like actually uses the Super Game Boy to like do color palettes and stuff. Kind of like how whenever you'd play Pokemon on a Game Boy Color, it would like do the color palettes for the different towns, etc., etc. You get it. Oh, and yeah, those running Easter Island head guys are fast. So I'm using 1F as opposed to 1A, which I've used in the past, which you can see here. I've handily edited in for you. Did I edit in the... I don't know. I don't think I edited in the showing off the Mario Brothers thing. I can't remember. Life's a blur, but we talked about the physics, so you'll see it then. Doesn't matter. I had a thing. I opened up my timer app on my phone so I could keep track of when I said it, but I didn't hit a button, so I'm just going to assume that we talked about it when we talked about the weird physics of Mario Brothers, and now I'll just have to hope for the best. But yes, this is what the 1A color palette looked like, but I opted to use 1F, just because I thought it looked nice. Why not? I also just didn't think about using other color palettes, which I kind of wish I did when I played Wario Land 1, but c'est la vie, we've done it. C'est la vie, I don't know. I don't speak languages, so we'll just move on. So, the enemies in this game are a little strange. They're a lot of things that are very similar to what you would expect, like you see Goombas, you see Koopas, but none of them are actually what you would expect. Like when we step on the Koopa, they explode because they're not Koopas, they're bombshell Koopas or Nokabone or some BS. I don't know. I'm not smart. I'm not a smart knowing guys things. And the Goombas are actually Goombos or Chibi, Karibo, whatever Goombas are called in Japan. Whatever they're called in Japan, and that's not the Yu-Gi-Oh card. Maybe they're just both Karibo. I don't know. Assuming I'm not smart. But yeah, it's just a lot of strange things. And the reason that's strange is whenever it came to America, they didn't localize the enemy name. So instead of being like, oh, this is a small Goomba, they're like, no, it's a Chibi Karibo, whatever. Get out of my face. They did end up localizing the names for the 3DS Virtual Console like digital manual. So some of the enemies got name localizations in there. And the whole reason I mentioned this was entirely so I could tell you the Bullet Bills in this game are called Bullet Biffs, which I thought was funny. Literally the only reason I told you that was because I thought Bullet Biff was a funny name. Because I'm not Game Boy Works. If this was a Game Boy Works episode, it'd be pretty poor. Their Mario Brothers 1 episode basically has all the info I was going to tell you, but in this one, we get to have some yucks, you get to see the full game, we get to have a fun time. I'm not here to do a fan episode of Game Boy Works, get out of my face! That being said, though, we will be talking about some development stuff as we get a bit farther in. Now, this level is a bit mean. This is where I always end up having trouble, and in the game. Like, this is the level that gets me the most out of any other level. And here's where I biff it bad. Now, we needed that hover platform thing to get up to that pipe to get to the bonus area. The problem is you need to be the big Mario to shatter the block to hit the thing, because the hidden block is right above that middle block. So we are actually unable to get up there. Now, the only way I would be able to get up there is to get a game over, to continue from the beginning of the level and get a power-up, and then be able to shatter that. But we're not going to be getting a game over here. We're just going to continue onwards, and I will edit in what the room looked like, so you can see here that it's, it's a bonus room we've seen before. We've seen that kind of setup before. Now, despite what I said about not getting a game over here to, like, do a continue and etc., so we could start from the beginning of the level. This is, like I said, this is where I start having trouble in this game. Because this level, I don't know what it is about it, but this is where it always gets me. These stupid falling spikes that you can't tell until they actually start falling. They always just get me. But I don't know, I died a couple times in this, and then I just kept messing up. Which is just very in line with how this level goes for me. This is just always the ooh, wait, actually, the game's not hard by any means, but this is just the point where I always die a bunch, and I don't know, I start having trouble here. You get it. I want to talk about the names of these places and the plot of this video game. We haven't talked about the plot of this ding-dang video game. So the plot of this video game is Sarasa Land, a different kingdom than the Mushroom Kingdom. An alien named Tatanga showed up and decided he wanted to marry Daisy, and then the Super Mario shows up to save the day, because the Super Mario just likes to save princesses from dilemmas. That's like his entire thing. So that's the plot of the video game. Now, it's like, oh cool, Daisy's first game, Tatanga, yeah. But Sarasa Land, the place where the thing happens. Now, I had no idea how to say the name, so I looked it up, and apparently Sarasa is the Portuguese name? Saying the Portuguese name for a second just was like, should I say the Portugal name? But no, and then I was like, why did I think that? No, the Portuguese name for calico textures is Sarasa, and the Portuguese name is the one that became popular in Japan. And also, I'm sorry for this background, it's a little rough to look at. It might have been a little neat on a Game Boy screen. Like I said, this level's the one that always gets me for some reason. But that flowing water textures are just those sprites don't look entirely great. They flash a little too fast for my eyes to enjoy. So I just wanted to apologize for that. Also, I wanted to apologize for some of the music tracks in this game, namely this kind of like Egypty, like pyramid cavey theme, and the bonus room theme. For some reason, my recording software didn't like it. It sounded fine in the emulator, but the recording software didn't like it, and I went through all the audio settings and couldn't find anything to fix it, so I played the video game anyways, so I'm sorry for your ears. So yeah, Sarasa Land. I looked at the thing, so I wanted to know how to say it, but apparently it's a calico texture. The Mario Wiki claimed that floral patterns are very common for them. I couldn't find anything to support that other than the Mario Land Wiki. Not the Mario Land, the Mario Brothers Wiki. The Mario Wiki. Which, it's probably fair, because floral textures are pretty common just on anything. And for that floral texture is why Daisy's name is the way it is. But I'm not entirely sure on that. But I just wanted to mention it, because it could be true, or it could just be the Mario Wiki having a laugh at us, which is also very true. Or not true, but possible. So the levels of this video game have names. Surprise, surprise. So level 1, your kind of deserty, Egypty theme. The one is called Birabutu, which is a misromanization of the Japanese name Piraputu. And the reason I'm having a hard time saying that is because the name is supposed to be Pyramid plus Egypto, which I guess would be Pirpito, which I can't say. My mouth doesn't work great, which if you've seen any of my videos. If you've been watching this video up to this point, you get, yes, this man's mouth does not work entirely the way it should. But yes, it's Birabutu in the English, Piraputo. The second one was Muda, like Bermuda, because, there was aliens and, like, some weird robots and junk. And this one, we're still in 3, is Easton, and it's Easter Island. So, you get kind of fun themes you wouldn't normally get in a Mario Brothers game, thanks to the development of this video game, the development team, I should say. So, that was not great. I forgot that one happened. Yeah, I have a lot of, like, weird little accidents in this video game. Some might have been caused by my Bluetooth thing, which I I reference a lot in these videos where like, oh, I think my Bluetooth ate some of my inputs, which isn't, I'm not here to say like, oh, the controller messed up on me, because it's happened so often at this point. It's entirely my fault for being too lazy to figure out, buy a better Bluetooth thing. So anytime I say, oh, the Bluetooth is the problem, know that it is still very much my fault. It's just it's a problem on a different level of like, you know, controller issue. It's not me going, the controller's bad. The controller's bad because it's my fault. But you know, the game's physics is a little strange from time to time. It doesn't play exactly how you would expect it to, and you know, sometimes I have controller issues, you know, etc., etc. Who cares? But you know, a lot of it is just careless playing. And right there, I almost beat the boss the intended way, but then I messed up, took that hit, because he throws boulders and you just jump over them to get over him. So you can get over him, come over here, and find Daisy. But yeah, you know, we also could just take the hit like we did, use your invulnerability frames to squeeze past him, and come back here. Daisy, and then she becomes a big, leafy, tentacle spider thing, I guess. Yeah, it happens, you know. It's happened to all of us at some point. And here we go, the last world in the game, Chai, which my dumbass did not realize until I checked the Mario Wiki that it's China and not Chai like the tea. I was just like, oh yeah, tea, yeah, that makes sense, but no, China, duh. So there's that. So this is the last world of the video game, and that's another thing that's a little strange. This game is only 12 levels long, as opposed to like Mario Brothers 1's like 32. Like each world has its own like unique, you know, like a level type and themes and tiles. Tile set was the word I was looking for. But you know, it's not a very long game. It's a Game Boy game, so you know, there's probably like memory stuff and blah 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 blah. But you know, it's a little disappointingly short. It does have a hard mode after you finish the video game with like more enemies and stuff. It's not like different level like placements. It literally just is more enemies. So we're just playing this game normally. These hopping vampire enemies, I think they're Jiangxi is the way you pronounce it. Which, you know, it's neat to see like level themes and enemies that are very un-Mario, because like if we ever got like a hopping like vampire enemy in like a Mario Brothers game now, it'd be some kind of like weird little like animal thing, probably in the similar vein to like your like Yoshi's Islands, like the lantern ghosts that are just like the sheet ghosts or whatever. Like, you know, it'd be something like that, whereas these Jiangxis are very like just basically just people. Also, I hate these falling bricks in these levels. You can always tell them because they all look like that. And that one's just kind of funny because they just throw it out at you, and it's like, oh, you actually can see it coming, because those show up in like 1-3, and I think in like some of your like the cave levels where like there's actual like other bricks that look like those falling bricks, so they actually like blend in. But that one's just thrown there as like a, hey, are you paying attention? Also like a little like goof, like, oh, that one's obviously going to fall, but I didn't notice it and just kind of left out on that one. So yeah, this game's weird and strange, and I really appreciate it. Like, I don't think it's a great game. Like, it's fine. It was probably mind blowing when the Game Boy first came out. I was like, oh, whoa, you know, a portable video game that's like a real damn video game. But you know, it's 2019. This game is 30 years old. It's, you know, it's not in its time frame anymore. It's fine. It's a fine game. I still enjoy it. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to play it if it weren't for this Let's Play, but you know what I mean. It's fine, and I think it's an interesting game. Now, I do want to talk about this game being developed as a video game, because it was made by R&D1, the team responsible for like the Wario Land games and etc. They also did things like the original Donkey Kong and Metroid, and probably some other things. They kind of did like your weird off hits of Mario, which is kind of weird. Of Mario, oh my god, I meant to say Nintendo. You know, they kind of did like your games that weren't your Marios or your Zeldas. Yeah, they're really a cool team. They got the Gunpei Yokoi, which I always think of Gunpei Yokoi as like the boss guy, which maybe he was. Maybe that's true. Maybe my brain just isn't working great. I don't know. Gunpei Yokoi. I wrote these names down. Takahiro Izushi, the father of Wario. I think that was the guy who did the design for Wario. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the reason I wrote him down was like, oh, he did the design for Wario. I should know that man's name. And Yoshio Sakamoto, which I think he was like the director or one of those big roles on the original Metroid. along with Yokoi, I think, and then he went and other M'd Metroid. I think that was Sakamoto. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a Metroid guy. I do enjoy Metroid, but it's, you know, I don't know it like I do the Warios or the Zeldas. Like I just enjoy a Metroid from time to time. So, you know, just kind of the weird, like, I don't want to say B team, but definitely the weird oddball team at Nintendo on great my invincibility wore off right as I hit the Fire Snake Boy. I think this is the last bonus room in the game. Not that that's all that important to you, but I think that's the last one in the video game. So hey, neat. But the reason I wanted to mention R&D 1, other than hey they did Wario Land, is because I kind of wanted to talk about the development stuff. So most of your big hitter games were done by EAD, Entertainment Analysis and Development, R&D 1 being Research and Development 1. And EAD did you're the Super Marios, your Zeldas. You know, they had your Miyamoto, your Kazumi, Tezuka, Aonuma. However you say his name, I've always been Aonuma. That's definitely how you say it. The reason I wanted to mention those, as we go into the last level of the video game, which is another shoot 'em up, which here in Mario's playing, the Sky Pop, where he goes and kills a bunch of birds, because he hates birds, unlike Wario, who we know is a friend to all owls. And he does not hate Skylife like the Super Mario does. What a foul man. Foul like birds. EAD, they did your big hits. And I want to talk about like these places. So we have R&D, we have EAD. So like, oh, these are development teams in Nintendo. There was also SPD, which was founded by Iwata to do like some internal stuff. And I couldn't find exactly what they did. So I imagine they probably did some more like, you know, SPD is like software planning and development. So I imagine they did some more like hard programming, like, oh, here's how the engine, you know, blah, 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 which should give sense given Iwata's like badass like programmer background that he's known for, like all the like crazy programming junk he would do. I mean, that's just speculation on my part. I don't know. The reason I'm mentioning this all, R&D 1 was absorbed into SPD, I believe. Oh shoot, what was their? The last game was Metroid Fusion, and then they were absorbed into SPD. EAD went until Steel Diver for the 3DS, and then they were merged into SPD. So at this point, you know, R&D 1 got merged into SPD, and then after Steel Diver 3DS, EAD was merged into SPD, and then reformed as EPD, Entertainment Planning and Development, whose first game was Triforce Heroes, and they're kind of like Nintendo's big hitter now. They did the Breath of the Wild, they did Mario Odyssey, they've done like, you know, all the big Switch games, basically. I just wanted to mention that because I thought it was interesting. Right as we come up to the boss of World 3 and our final boss, and I actually managed, I think I hit all of the things I want to talk about. I'm not sure if I mentioned it at the beginning because my memory's bad, but the reason we're coming back and playing Mario Land right now is because, you know, this Mario Land became Wario Land. Super Mario Land 3 is Wario Land 1. So with us coming up to the end of our Wario Land stay, I figured we'd come back and see the birth of our boy as he was. We'll have live birth footage of our boy Wario, and we'll all be very proud, but I guess kind of gross parent. I don't know. I don't know anything about parenting, so I'm not going to throw shade there. But here's Tatonga, the weird spaceman who came down to marry Daisy. And this is the final boss of the video game. It takes place as a shoot-'em-up segment, which is a little odd. Like, it's just, you know, the video game ends in a means that isn't its main gameplay, but isn't, like, thrown out at you, like, in a strange way at the very end. Oh, Daisy, Daisy! And see, we found the real one this time. We're thanked. He gets a little kissy as the 1-up flies to the sky, and our quest is over. We can be done with this wretched, wretched man. Goodbye, the Super Mario. Take Daisy to safety and get out of my face so we can go back to our boy, Wario. But not exactly, because like I said, Wario Land is Super Mario Land 3. There's still Super Mario Land 2, and we were going to play that video game too. So I gave this game, you know, crap because it is a little dated. It was honestly probably a little dated when it came out. But I do enjoy it. I think it's an interesting look at like a weird alternate Mario Brothers. Like what could have been had Yokoi been the big guy instead of Miyamoto or whatever. You know, what could have the Super Mario Brothers looked like? Maybe this could have been the start. Maybe when Super Mario 3D Land came out, it would have been more like this in its sequel instead of just being like, here's like a Mario Brothers 3 Mario, you know. I was a little disappointed that Super Mario 3D Land didn't have much Mario Land rep, and by much I mean any, basically. Yeah, it's an interesting game. Sorry if this Let's Play was a little scatterbrained. I took a lot of notes. I played it ahead of time just because I knew I wanted to do the editing, and I thought that might get a little weird having to talk, and then, I have to shut up now to cut. I don't typically do games and post-commentary, so it felt a little strange for me, so hopefully it wasn't too strange for you. But here we are, we're at the end of the game. I really enjoy the credits themes. Actually, I didn't mention it throughout this entire playthrough, but I really like the three big themes from this game, the two overworld themes and this credit themes. I really enjoy. Like, a lot of the others, like, whatever. But like your level like 1-1 theme, and then I think the 2-1 theme, and then this credits. I really enjoy those songs. Thank you, Hip Tanaka. Good music in. But that's the end of this video game. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you for Super Mario Land 2. And the next one's Super Mario Land 2. That's the next one. It's the next.